good morning, good day, good evening, whatever your time zone may be. Doesn't matter if we're out and we're only. And today we're not with a race. We are here with the season 4 announced lineup slash calendar stream. And alongside me is owner and starter of the league, Phil Smith. Welcome.
Cheers, Sam. Happy to be here. As always, season 4 announcement stream. A lot of hype around this. A lot of drivers, as usual. The most sign-ups I've ever had. So, yeah, really good to hear. I'm really excited to get into it.
Yes, and we will start with the calendar, or better said, you will start with the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll just get straight, just like that.
Yes. Definitely.
It's a big bombshell. VRL's getting bigger, we're growing, so, I mean, what other way to do it than have more races than ever? And, well, in the past seasons we've had 12 races. This season we've got 15 races, including the pre-season tests. So, exciting news for everyone. I mean, I'm sure most drivers will be happy with that. So, I'm going to read out the tracks and then the date of each race. So first of all, everyone knows we've got the pre-season test. It's a usual thing, and we've kept with tradition. We've gone with Russia. We've had that in all 3 seasons so far, and we want to keep tradition in VRL. So that will be on the 29th of December, and that is the only race in 2019 in season 4, and it's not even a race where you score points. So I'm happy to stay on the calendar. What about you, Sam?
Yes, definitely. Russia was also a great race. Definitely in season 3 we had some great battles between Yoda, Zef, and I think one of the racing points it was. It was a great race.
Felix also, yeah.
Yes, definitely. He had to come from the back. It was pretty exciting as well. The slipstream keeping the drivers very close.
Yeah. So round 1 then. These are the rounds that really matter now. Score points in them. So first of all, on the 5th of January, so a week after Russia, is Australia, which is a new one. We've decided to go with Australia as the opening round this time to change things up a bit from Bahrain. And then round 2, which is the week after that, which is the 12th of January 2020, is Azerbaijan. I mean, it's a VRL classic. Every single race there has been
stunning.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, obviously last season my little... You know what, I'm not even going to remind everyone of it. I mean, you can say it if you want, but...
Yeah. 7,000 of a second.
This is the track that Steve famously beat me by 7,000 of a second on the line on the final lap. So yeah, happy to be back there. Round 3, a lot of people will be happy about this. It's after a week break from Azerbaijan. The 26th of January is Monaco, and that will be at night time. So that is a very big race that all the drivers will be looking forward to, I'm sure. So, especially Steve, because I know he always loves Monaco. Season Breach Puny will keep him happy. So,
yeah.
Round 4, we've got Canada on the 2nd of January, and then round 5 is Austria returning once again on the 9th of February. And then round 6 we've got Britain. Was a good race last time out. The second ever race in the rain, I'm sure, and they've both been at Silverstone. Obviously the first one in season 1 when you won, and the second one when I jump started by about 15 seconds. So that was last season, and then me and Steve were battling for, I think, 14th or something, so that's great memories. And then round 7 on the 1st of March is Germany, and then the week after that is Belgium on the 8th of March. Then there's another week break until round 9, which is Monza, which is coming back to the calendar. So that's on the 15th, and then we have a week break, and then another new one, and I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about this. Singapore is round 10 on the 29th of March. So yeah, I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm really looking forward to the spectacle of Singapore.
Yes, definitely a long race, of course, for both me and the drivers. Definitely for the drivers, they'll have to sweat a lot. It's a long race, but all to play for. So we're looking forward to that one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's also chance of rain in Singapore, as we saw in the 2017 race in real life. But another returning track to the calendar is Japan, which is on the 5th of April. That's round 11. So the last time we saw that was the famous Season 2 race where Marcus won. I still don't know to this day how he did that.
Impressive.
So yeah, little shout out to Marcus there. Well done, mate. Round 12, which is the 19th of April, is USA. So we're returning to Kota after a decent race last time out in Season 3. Then the final 2 rounds of the season, round 13 on the 26th of April, we've got Brazil. It was a really good race last time, wasn't it? With Season 3, with Aaron and Chapelele battling for the lead, and then obviously the battle between Felix, myself, Marion and Tim for second. So yeah, that was a really good track for battling uphill, turn 4 as well. And then the final round of Season 4 will all come to a close on the 17th of May in Abu Dhabi under the lights. So that's another new one. How you feel about that, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of my personal favorite tracks. As maybe in real life not so great, but in the game it's definitely a good track. As slipstream, keeping the drivers right in in each other, and it's also pretty interesting as not many drivers are very good about the track. So maybe some underdogs can take their opportunity right there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, as in the F1 season, it's obviously nice to end it off like under the lights. Just it's kind of more symbolic than we have been recently with Brazil. It's kind of a more old school finish to the season. Obviously, we're growing as a league. We want to expand out. We're becoming more competitive. Every race we are. So yeah, I think it's good. It's a good addition to the calendar. So that's the 14 tracks plus the pre-season test in Russia.
And
what do you think of the overall calendar then?
And I think it's a very good calendar. Of course, me and you both talking about it went a lot of work into it. But I think looking at the chat, I think everyone's looking to go to the driver lineup.
Yeah, they are. And
so
I think we've got almost 30 people in the chat asking for the driver lineups.
Yes.
And I think they do want to see it.
Should we keep them waiting?
They're all spamming the chat. I think we'll give them what they want.
Yeah.
So, alright, so, okay.
You'll start.
It's a big thing, this. So, the driver lineups for Season 4, I'll start. And we start at McLaren. So, first of all, we've got Heist Boss and Crash Vettel at McLaren, with Reese March as their reserve and F1 Neutral as their team boss. Now, Crash Vettel is a returning driver from VRL. Yes, he raced a couple of races. One race, I think, in Season 2 in the finale. And he's shown good pace in the sign-ups. Heist Boss obviously scored McLaren's best result up until Sam's good result in Monza. So he was a really good consistent driver who got unlucky quite a bit with front wings and such. And Reese March is a new driver, raced in a couple other leagues. So I'm sure a trusty reserve. F1 Neutral. He's well known to be a strict team boss at McLaren. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that team. So. Moving on to you.
Yeah, moving on to me then. At Toro Rosso, the Italian team, soon to turn AlphaTauri, is Da FIFA and Sam Jordan. And the Italian team, of course, finished second last to McLaren, as they had not the best season. Definitely not a season the drivers wanted. But I think with this new lineup, they've got some very good drivers. I think FIFA took a very good. I think he took a podium at Silverstone, or at least one of the races. He took a podium.
Yeah, he did. He did. He took a podium at Silverstone. Yeah,
Yes.
in the rain.
And of course, very well good known midfield driver. Has been a bit unlucky, especially at Austria, where he showed some good pace. Could have been a good finish, but
Yeah.
his race ended after one turn. And then at the reserve position, maybe it's a bit of a shock to both himself and the rest of the grid, is Zef as a Toro Rosso reserve. Of course, very disappointing for him then, but didn't have the season he probably wanted to have, and sad to see him go. But he's still here at the reserve position, so
And I mean, that's still like with the team bosses as well. I mean,
yeah,
he could perform and
yeah.
show his pace, and it's got much more competitive. That's all we can say, really.
Yes.
And the team
that,
boss of Toro. So
talking about team bosses, Coutinho 5 is that team boss at McLaren, or Toro Rosso, excuse me.
yeah,
As they look forward to a better season than they did last season.
yeah,
So,
I'm sure they'll be hoping for a better season than second last in the constructors. So next up we have Renault. They didn't have the greatest season last season. They showed, I mean, they hardly had any 4 or 5 rounds, and then it was
Jos.
really Darfifa's podium and Jos and Nick van Helder in, that got them going really. They started to turn up, started to get some points, especially Darfifa's podium in Silverstone. So they had a good end to the season, but not the finish that they would have wanted. So at Renault, we've got a big lineup. We've got Felix, who was voted the most consistent driver in Season 3 by the drivers themselves. And we've got Tim Ventink. So, I mean, surely you've got to see that as a team who's going to fight for the constructors. I mean, with Felix, he's got raw pace and he's consistent. I mean, it's just, he has to be looking to fight for the championship this season. And Tim obviously shown good pace toward the end of last season. Didn't have the results he wanted in the middle part. Obviously, he moved from Red Bull to Ferrari, just for a bit of a change, hoping to get some better results. And then, I'm sure he'll be really happy with Felix as a teammate at Renault. At their reserve driver, they have Steve Valois or Magic Alonso. He can only be a reserve driver this season due to personal reasons. So, I mean, that's a really good lineup, especially with Steve's pace at reserve to, he's a quick driver as it is, and to have Felix and Tim as your main, I mean, that's going to be an interesting lineup to keep an eye on. And then the team boss is TP Emo, or Timo as we know him. He was the team boss for Ferrari last season, managing Tim and Marco, but this season he's moved on to Renault. He's staying with Tim. I reckon he'll be really happy with that. He really wanted to be the team boss of Renault. So
Yes.
yeah, what do you think of that team then, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's. I mean, you don't have a brain if you don't think Renault are gonna be a contender for the constructors. Really, team of course showed some great pace near the end of the season. Just needed to pick up his consistency. He definitely had some potential. And Felix, of course, was generally consistent throughout the whole season. He picked up a bit of bad luck midway through, but was very much consistently quick. And I think it's a real shock that he hasn't won a VRL race yet. But I think that's a good target to have next season.
Yeah. So next up, you are
Going to do Mercedes. So yeah. Who could it be? Who could it be? Of course, Mercedes. Of course, already having Marine win Spa, and I think I'm not sure where they ended up eventually. I'm pretty sure they ended up 4th or 5th, somewhere around there.
Mercedes as a team.
Yeah.
No, they were actually they ended up 6th in the constructors. It was quite disappointing for them, really.
Yes, of course.
I know,
Maybe
it was
you would
7th actually. 7th. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's my bad.
7th.
Well, that's behind them, as Marine did pick up a victory in Spa, but Ridwan really did leave it out to be in most races, really. But a new lineup could see them possibly challenging from the constructors. So they have very much retained Marine, and they have signed you at Mercedes. So it's gonna be you and Ryan Oliball at Mercedes.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I had a big decision to make before the end of the deadline for the sign-ups, and I think it was a really hard one. But yeah, I'm really happy with my team.
Yeah,
So,
and then I reckon you've probably got one of the best reserve drivers in your team as well, Rico, who'll be probably consistently wrapping up some points if he does get the time to drive. And your team boss who's going to be managing over you really this season is hot lap mode, just as last season. Pretty sure you guys get on pretty well. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good contender, really, I would say, for next season. And then moving back to you.
Yeah. So the next lineup that we'll be announcing is Red Bull, and this is another big one. Obviously, Red Bull dominated VRL for really the first 2 seasons, and
yeah.
If it wasn't for the Mercedes dominance at the end of season 1, I mean, they lost the constructors. It was actually me and you in Red Bull in season 1, and we lost the constructors by 9 points to Mercedes in the end. And then season 2, obviously, it was myself and Yoda who
walked over the competition.
Who won the constructors in season 2 by a hefty margin.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm sure they'll want better than 6th place in the constructors like they did in season 3. Obviously, they had a great lineup with Luke and Sem last season, but I mean, it was inconsistent how, sometimes Luke was fighting for a win, and then the next race he'd be fighting, 9th place. So
yes,
Red Bull want to, have better results, and their lineup for this season it's a big one. It's the season 3 champion, Steve Matamala, and NSX Lion, or Lars0515 on Instagram. So, I mean, Lion racing other leagues, and he's shown pace there. And I mean, what can I say about Steve? I haven't said already. Sometimes I don't know how he does it. He's funny. He pulls out of the bag and beats me by 7,000th of a second sometimes, but really and true, honestly, he did so well last season to really mix it with drivers like Aaron, and his most impressive race for me was France. The way he had the pace to beat Francis, it really shown how far Steve has come as a driver, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to fight with Lion to fight for the constructors with Red Bull, and their reserve will be Ridwan F1. So, I mean, Ridwan had a couple of decent qualifying seasons. Austria came, I think, top 5 in qualifying, maybe 6th. And he was really close to the pole position. Like, the top 6 in Austria were separated by a 10th, so...
Maybe, I'm pretty sure less.
He obviously hasn't had the results he wanted. I mean, we're not going to, we're not going to lie about that, but no. I think as a reserve driver at Red Bull with Steve and Lion to learn off, I think he can make a good, comeback and hopefully score some good points. And their team boss for season 4 is, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's Chris Lee Bear, or whatever that is on Instagram.
Is he Dutch and then it's Beer?
I think so. He knows Lion. I think he knows Lion. So I think Red Bull, they've got to look for challenging for the constructors with that lineup. So Sam, on to you with the Racing Point lineup.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I found it. Yes. Sorry. Nice from Camelba Pad. These guys know each other well, and they qualified 1-2 at Spa last season as Racing Point. It's Sam and Luke. Moving both from Red Bull to Racing Point. Yes. What can I say? Just solid, really. Just very solid. They're very quick drivers. They locked out the front row at Spa. Luke nearly won that race if it wasn't for a penalty. like you said, maybe Luke needs to step up his consistency a little bit, and I think same goes for Sam really. But yeah, I think they'll be right on the pace, and also another challenger for the constructors next season if they can just keep that consistency going. I'll just have a little peek at their reserve, and that is the reserve is Nick.
Wait, Sam, I think you just need to change the car on the showroom to Racing Point. I think some people in the chat are getting quite triggered about that.
All right, then. Stay calm. Stay calm.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Vasilios.
All right, then here we are. All right, you happy? There we go. All right, the reserve is gonna be Nick. What's his Instagram again?
It's Nick. He's the Niltix 14. He was
yes, I'll just leave it at that.
The reserve at Ferrari last.
He's kind of He's kind of copied my name a little bit, but we won't talk about that. No, and then moving on to the team boss, it's gonna be Formula News. The reserve of last season stepped down as a driver and will go try to manage his own team to glory instead of trying to drive to glory. So yeah, good team boss, knows the drivers and knows the league as well. So that might help him out a bit. So yeah, he's very welcomed. I think a good lineup, and yeah, I think it might be time to move on to the next one.
Yeah,
and I'll immediately change cars.
Yeah, to Williams, because they came fourth in the Constructors' Champions like the last season. Obviously, we're going in reverse championship order. So the Williams team is it's another big one. Vasilios has kept his seat at Williams. He never really looked like leaving. He liked the environment there. But a big mover is Aaron, or Afrofrish, has moved from Haas to Williams. I mean, it's another big team that should be fighting for the constructors. There's no, they should be fighting for the constructors with Aaron and Vasilios. Like, the raw pace on those two, is insane.
Yes.
And also they are good friends in real life. So yeah, and their reserve driver will be Matthias, or Henk Peter, who had a really disappointing season last season with McLaren. He didn't find his feet really. He only scored, I think, 4 points. He only scored on 2 different occasions at the start of the season, one of which he came last in Baku, but it was 9th. So he'll really want to find his feet at Williams and try and pick up the pieces if Aaron and Vasilios can't race. And then remaining at Williams as a team principal is Stein Kustra, who was he's a credit to the league really. He does so much. Yes. And he was a great team principal for them last season, so I hope he's just as good this time. So moving on to Ferrari.
Then we have at Ferrari we have Marco, who remains there after last season, and then we have Dylan Day, new driver coming in to the Ferrari. I think Marco, of course, not a race winner just yet, but I think he might just be able to put it out of the bag next season if he does a good enough job. And I think Dylan Day will be a very much consistent driver, and I think we might just see a little surprise from him with a victory or podium, if he just keeps his nose clean. Really, I think it's a good lineup, and they're gonna have Mokhtar Reindeer to manage them throughout the season, and they will have for Dio as their reserve for next season. So consistent lineup. I think that's the word, consistency for Ferrari really, as Marcus was one of the only consistent drivers who really proven or was consistent top 3 really. And that got him to a good championship place. And Dylan, I think, will also be a very consistent driver, and so will be Dio, as he's put some really good performance in, notably at Monza and
No, it wasn't Monza. It was Brazil. He did an
Oh yeah,
amazing race in Brazil. No,
and
what was it? Brazil?
no,
Where was
Baku.
it?
He put a really good race in
Um,
Baku.
USA. That's what it was. USA.
And
He did the alternate strategy and he came
uh,
seventh.
and so he
It was
did.
a great race in Rio.
I'm pretty sure he did also at USA, but Baku. He also put in a good
Yeah, he
strategy.
was leading the race, wasn't he, in Baku?
Yeah,
Yeah.
before he got passed
He
by
led the
Steve.
race for a couple laps.
Yes, so
Yeah.
good
But,
addition.
and he
Good
had a good
addition
race
to
in Brazil,
Ferrari.
so he had a good end to the season. Good end to the season for Dio.
Just miss out on the main seat, but if he just keeps his
Yeah.
head down, who knows? Opportunities may come.
Yeah. So then I will announce the
Alfa
runners-up
Romeo
for
lineup.
last season. Alfa Romeo.
They can only.
Obviously, they were disappointed to not take the crown off myself and Aaron last season in her. But I mean, they did their best. Marcus was people underestimate Marcus, but you know the league's got so much more competitive from when he started, and he almost seems to be in the same place that he was, you know, last season. How he's just consistently fighting for points every single race, and it's really impressive how he's improved so much. Yet you can't really see it because he's still fighting for the same positions, but it's because all the other drivers in the league have come in and they're so much quicker than they were before. So Alfa Romeo, we've got Marcus or MMG Designs, Xavi Mateos, as people would know him, and then we've got Formula Lap on Instagram at Alfa Romeo. So both, through the sign-up seem, Formula Lap seem, consistent and around at the same pace as each other. So Alfa Romeo will be looking to score some really good points next season with reserve driver of Jamil F1. So he was at Red Bull last season. He didn't have the greatest season, let's put it that way. I mean, he had some...
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I think we'll leave it at that. I think he'll be happy to have a reserve seat at Alfa Romeo to help them fight. And then at Team Boss for Alfa Romeo, remaining at Alfa Romeo is Pecos Gaming YT. Another great team boss. It shows, some people who don't even race in the league, they give so much to the league with graphics and, just the relationship with the drivers they have. And obviously it was sad to see Steve go after being there for 2 seasons, but maybe moving on, change is good and hopefully they can find their pace at Alfa Romeo with Formula Lap and Marcus.
I think they'll be solid midfielders, really. I think it's going to be hard to repeat that second place from
it's
last
really
season.
going to be hard, especially with all the lineups we've got this season. I mean, you look down at the lineups and you think, what team isn't going to fight for the Constructors' Championship?
Yes, that's my right.
But now on to the reigning champions, Haas, Sam.
Yes, moving on to Haas. We have the last team, by the way. We have the FRT boys at Haas, Midnight and Chapelele.
Boys.
Yeah, sorry. Excuse me. We have Chapelele and Midnight hasn't raced, so he will make his debut. But Chapelele, of course, from Brazil, and he won USA ahead of his teammate. So if I had to pick my money on anyone, I think it would be these two. Really, I've said more people will possibly win the constructors, but I think if I had to make a bet, it would be Haas again. Really, then I would put my money on that.
That'd be crazy if they did it again.
So that mean we have 2 Red Bull won it 2 times, and that would mean Haas would win it 2 times as well.
Well, you can't predict anything now. This is VRL. This isn't real life F1.
True, that's
Not
definitely
like it's
true.
Mercedes running away with the championship.
True.
But yeah, the reserve driver.
Who other else than Dylan? Of course, Dylan, race winner Dylan.
Yeah, 2-time race winner Dylan.
Yeah, he won 2 times. Sorry. Yeah. Of course, would have loved to give him a main seat, but certainly can't make all the races. So a reserve position will have to do for him. And I think if one of these quick drivers can't race, they'll have another race-winning driver in the car again. So yeah, I think that should be good. And of course, their team boss is Ansoy, very very well-known driver from VRL, and he'll be looking to manage his team to glory instead of driving his team to glory this time. So yeah, I think around I think a very competitive lineup for whole VRL, and I think it should be
definitely
more closer than it was before. Of course, only 2 points separating Haas and Alfa Romeo going into the last race, and it could have been a bit closer to the drivers, but this time it will be a lot closer. Now I want to put my money on it that it will go to the last race, and I think it should be a
and
great
as well,
season.
there's 14 races this season, so
So you can't win it too quickly.
Yeah, you can't. And I just think, I mean, looking at that lineup, do you think 15 of the 20 drivers are capable of winning a race? I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy how far VRL's come, and you look at some of these drivers and they're in the top 50 in time trial. You think it's scary how far we've come in 3 seasons. I mean, what's it going to be like in season 5, season 6? We don't know, but that's all the team's done. I think we've got just about 10 minutes left to have a bit of reaction
from
some of the boys. I'll invite, I think, Marine, Felix, Tim, and Luke asked to join. So we'll try.
Let's get a quick couple questions in. So.
Yeah, just
quick.
Just to see how they're feeling about.
Yeah.
Their general reaction to the driver lineups. Obviously, hopefully we can get Steve in here if he is
online. I'm not sure
if he's online. I've invited him, so hopefully we can get the season 3 champion in. See what his thoughts are on the Red Bull team. But Sem, Lion asked, what are your top 3 predictions for next season? So, drivers' championship.
Okay, that's a pretty out there question. Alright, I think it's gotta be Marine winning the championship. It's gotta be Felix.
That is a bombshell.
I think it's gotta be Felix in P2, and yourself in P3.
Oh, cheers, Sam. Love you too. So not Midnight or Chapelele in the top 3. That is.
No, I don't think so. If you
and not even Steve, not even Steve.
No. Listen, if you don't disconnect,
we've got Tim here who wants.
If you don't disconnect all the time, you might actually get to fight for wins and podiums again.
Yeah.
So that's what's up for you. You probably will laugh at me at the end of the season, as you probably do really shit. But no.
Tim and Luke, we've got you both in the party. I want to know what your thoughts are on Tim for you being with Felix at Renault and Luke being at Racing Point with Sam.
Let's start with Tim.
Incredible lineup. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a really deep going conversation there from Tim. I hope we get a little bit more from Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
What are your thoughts on your lineup? Yeah, of course. Yeah, these
win the constructors. We're with, I don't know, 7 teams that can win it, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's mad.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
The lineups are so incredibly good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Almost every team can fight for the
Exactly. It's crazy. But Tim, I want to know, and Luke also, I want to know what are your, what do you want from next season? You gonna want to fight for the drivers' championship yourself?
I want to win a race.
Yes.
So Luke wants to win a race, and Tim wants to fight for the championship.
Yeah, I want to do both, but I want to win a race first.
Yeah.
I think there are more better drivers than me, but I just want to win a race.
Yeah. And what about you, Tim?
Well, yeah, of course I would want to win a race at least, but I would love to fight for the championship. Both championships.
Who do you think are going to be the main rivals in terms of the drivers' championship?
Me.
Phil, you.
Me.
Luke, Marine, Felix, maybe. Yeah, and
I think Sam.
maybe Sam Kulemans.
Kilometers.
Not Midnight or Chapelele.
No.
No.
They will be behind me.
Will they? Okay, that is
I'm very
I can't wait to go back
So-
to this card when you spin again. So, no.
what is what I've noticed is that none of you have mentioned Williams with Vasilios and Aaron.
Nah,
That,
no,
like,
out of a job, mate.
No,
I
Out
mean,
of a job.
you don't think Aaron's
Vasilios
gonna be your
normally
main-
can't
No.
race that much.
You have to look at the reserve, I think. Matthijs. Unreal.
Matthijs.
The way you
score
laughed at that
Unbelievable.
after the
Goes
type of
every
race.
Alright. It's getting a bit out of hand.
Yeah,
Can we get some
let's-
real
let's
professional
stop
drivers
that
in?
right there.
Ooh, this
Ooh.
hurts my heart.
Some real-
We're just kids, so
I was talking about professionally talking, of course.
we're,
Oh,
we're,
okay.
we're both 14, so shut up.
We're
Ooh, someone's
3,
Oh.
14.
13 in the ball.
KK. I'm Ryan and
Right,
Felix
so-
gonna join anytime soon.
I've invited
Felix
Ryan,
is
but he's
going out and Marijn, I don't know.
Drinking beer.
Ryan. I mean,
If you could hurry up, that would be lovely.
Yeah,
needs
but-
to join.
About Haas, they are just. Chaplele was behind me in the other league. Because he was so inconsistent. Basically me last
This is
season.
VRL.
And Midnight also. Yeah, he was normally pretty quick, but when he bottles, it's just. Yeah, big rip.
Can we get Mariah in?
Right, so I'll ask Mariah now, see if he can come in before we end in about 5 minutes' time.
This
'cause
season
I wanna
is
get
going to
his-
be so good.
Yeah, here he is. Big
Ryan
bowl.
Oliebol.
Ryan Oliebol,
It's
one
good to
time
know.
VRL race winner.
The gay guy who stole my win.
Actually, can we all make sure that we've got our voices on allowed to be
Yeah,
shared?
I have it on. I have it on.
Yeah, I have it on.
Yeah,
I changed it very
so
quick.
as well.
I think.
Okay, Mariah.
Yes.
So.
Talking to your season 4
Oliebol,
teammate.
my
Yes.
season 4 teammate. Yes! Here we go.
Oh god.
Are we going to win the constructors, yes or yes?
Yes.
No.
Confident. Very
Definitely
confident.
not.
No.
Oh my gosh. Mariah,
They
who's your
won't.
main competitor in the Drivers' Championship?
Yeah. Looking at last season, like that with Aaron and Vasilios and
Yeah.
the guys
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Haas. I don't know when they are gonna race.
Then we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks until Russia,
Yeah,
and then a further week until Australia. So, also, I want to get your thoughts on the calendar, you three. What do you think about it?
Game.
Australia is gay.
Whoa,
First
that
of
is
all-
bad language.
Kid
Bad
friendly,
language.
guys. Kid friendly. Come on.
Australia
quality
is
will be
bad.
really
I'm
important
sorry.
because track position is crucial. Overtaking is pretty difficult. So
Yeah.
I mean, we have Monaco, Singapore, and Baku.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I love those three tracks. So
yes.
I'm happy Japan is back.
Monaco's
Most
gonna be good.
Most people don't like Japan, but I think it's very good that it's back
I
because
don't like it because of the bump in the final corner.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I hate about the track, and it makes the whole track annoying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, boys.
think we might have to
Me
put
and
it
Sam
all
are gonna have to finish this because
Yes.
we're running close to an
okay,
hour. So,
I will mute
Sam,
on my
do you
phone.
wanna? Yeah,
We will
yeah.
see
I
you
wanna. Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah, okay. Shut up, you three. All right, Sam, you wanna
Alright,
end it
yeah.
off?
I'll end it off, yeah. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, on the 29th of December, we'll have the first pre-season test in Russia. Was a great race last season. I'm sure it will be great again. No points for Alvaro, of course. So driver might be taking a little more risk, and I'm sure it'll be a great race. Be sure also to follow Vision Racing League on Instagram, and keep an eye on the YouTube account for the season montage that will come in the next 2 weeks. And I hope to see you at Russia. Thank you very much.
I'd like to also thank everyone for watching the stream. There's been a huge amount of comments and viewers on the stream, so yeah.
No problem.
Cheers for that, lads.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See you in
Bye.
Russia.
Yeah.
See